once in a while, we encounter a giant amongst men. In the world of sport, they carry a nation's hopes on their back. We call them greats, legends, and perhaps even the greatest. They enthrall us with their talent, and better still, some can conjure the ability to match their sporting prowess with charm and charisma. These are the special breed, and in motorcycling, we've been blessed with some of the best.
I think I was the one that coined him the GOAT, a long time ago, greatest of all time.
Gifted, passionate, and charismatic.
He came, he conquered, and kicked ass.
He's able to combine that fun factor with ultimate performance.
For every record they achieve, there will always be another challenge. In the case of MotoGP and the world of motorcycling, there is a rider who comes close to being called the greatest. His name, Valentino Rossi. This is the story of Valentino Rossi, told by those who know him best and the man himself. This story takes us from the racetrack back to the heart of his world in Tavullia to get the insight on what makes this man worthy of the title, the greatest of all time. Born and raised in the quiet, unassuming town of Tavullia, up in the hills above the Adriatic coast of Italy, he arrived into this world the son of a fantastic motorsports talent, Graziano Rossi.
I always play with Graziano, with my father, with motorcycle, because he know that way,
Io credo che sia difficile per un bambino che gioca non appassionarsi a un gioco così magico come quello delle moto.
Avevamo capito già da piccolini che comunque lui era un talento.
Io sono stato tra i primi sicuro a Tavullia a dire secondo me questo ragazzo è uno che fa strada.
I started to have the idea to become a real rider when I arrived at the World Championship in '96.
Valentino Rossi on pole position at the center of attraction.
Inspired by his father, the young Rossi began his Moto Grand Prix career in 1996 after experiencing success in the Italian Championship. Never short of confidence, his taste for victory was matched only by his unwavering quest to have fun.
He has that charismatic sort of Peter Pan appeal.
Di un campione che è fuori da ogni immaginazione.
He loves motorcycling, he loves to ride the bike, and I think that he's able to transmit that true passion and desire for what he does, and he's able then to communicate that to other people, and I think that's what people really appreciate.
What has followed in over 20 years of racing at the highest level of the sport has combined exceptional talent with the mastery of entertainment.
The most that I enjoy more was when in '99 in Jerez I got the toilet with the 250, but also Mugello in 2002 when the police stopped me and make me the laser, the picture for la multa.
Whether or not you know him for his racing prowess or crazed celebrations, the man known as the Doctor has become an institution within motorcycling, and the legend of Valentino Rossi now transcends the world of sport.
Who is Valentino Rossi? A friend, fast as hell on a motorcycle, and I think genuinely just a really good guy.
Io tante volte a chi non conosce Vale dico sempre voi vedete quello che lui fa, le sue gesta da pilota, ma io vi posso garantire che l'uomo è ancora meglio del pilota.
see everything. I mean, honestly, from his ritual to getting on the bike and just how he is on camera, off camera. I think he doesn't have two acts. That what you see on TV, that's Valentino.
Io perlomeno lo vedo sempre come un dono, sia quando vince sia quando perde, è sempre un dono. È uno dei personaggi più importanti al mondo, ma è uno dei personaggi anche più vicini alla gente, no? Rispetto a tutti gli altri.
Che lì è uno che secondo me ha gli attributi.
No matter what machinery is introduced to Valentino, his desire to wring its neck and push its ability to conform to his lust for speed will always shine through. From his infamous and highly competitive Formula One test to the multiple wins he has chalked up at Monza Rally, Rossi has proved his mastery of all things fast. In fact, stepping into a NASCAR stock car for the first time, he was totally at ease with the ferocious beast, clocking in laps that were literally within tenths of NASCAR champion Kyle Busch himself. Caged or not, four-wheel or two, Valley only knows one pace, and that's flat out. The highest number of wins in the modern MotoGP era, and he has the most podium appearances in the history of the sport.
Kenny Jr. said to me, he goes, "Isn't it weird when you get behind Valentino? He just always seems to be pulling meters on you. Like you can't make up 5 meters and then him pull 6. He's just constantly pulling away from you." And, it was true. He was pretty unbeatable.
I don't know how many years he's been in the sport. Maybe this is his 20th year, perhaps. That's amazing.
To still to have that drive and that push, to be riding as good as he is, very impressive.
86 Premier Class victory for the...
For all his worldwide acclaim, from fans and fellow sporting icons alike, Valentino remains fiercely loyal to the inner circle of trusted friends who have supported him throughout his journey. Retreating back to Tavulia after each race weekend, the bond he has with his hometown and people he grew up with is key to understanding the man and his legend. To know Valentino, you need to listen to his inner circle.
Uno che Valentino Rossi è la classica persona tosta, è uno che va a cercare sempre il limite su tutto, quello che fa anche
qui, perché io penso che lui sia un extraterrestre, veramente, cioè qualcosa di fuori dall'ordinario.
Well, you imagine if you put Tiger Woods together with Michael Jordan, together with Roger Federer, and put that combination on a motorcycle.
Over the course of the next 4 episodes, we'll take you right into the heart of Valentino's world and hear plenty from Valley himself. But where better to celebrate the Rossi legend than in Mugello, home of some of his greatest moments as a MotoGP rider, which is where we will pick up the story next time out. If ever there was a racetrack that could sell you MotoGP or showcase the frenzied scenes that Valentino Rossi can create, it would be Mugello. Picturesque, historic, and very fast, there is much about Mugello that is distinctly Italian. Somehow, over 100,000 fans find space on the banking and create an electric atmosphere that sweeps over the shallow hills.
Every riders love this track, but when you ride inside, it's very difficult, very demanding physically, and especially it's very scary because it's very fast.
For Italian rider, Mugello have a couple tenths in the end. You know, when you arrive here, you are faster than the normal.
special thing of Mugello is that the number of the people around the track is like another track. But when you ride the bike, you feel more the people. And you feel the people very close.
They have been coming to Mugello for decades. The circuit groups fans together in the amphitheater setting. Dedicated areas exist for particular riders' fans, and the famous Italian passion for racing means the Gran Premio d'Italia is motorsport at its most spine-tingling and tribal.
Every year, when you arrive, the pressure comes very heavy. It's a good pressure. I'm always very happy to come here in Mugello.
I mean, it's a difficult race for him because being his home Grand Prix, he has a lot of distraction around. There's a lot of attention for him.
Many people don't really understand for us it's an important weekend. And all fans is coming crazy in Mugello. But when you are on the bike, on the track, it's special.
It's something special, but the price to pay is very high. You have a lot of guests, a lot of people into the paddock, and I think that Mugello is one of the worst. When you exit, everything happens. The people that give the child like this for the picture, or try to take the cup. So it's a battle. It's a battle also outside of the racetrack.
The passion that you get from having all these fans here. You have to get up at the crack of dawn to get in here to the circuit. But as you drive through there, you just see all these people arriving. And when they arrive, it's chaos at the gate, and it's classic Italian. This is what MotoGP is all about, the passion at this particular racetrack.
Il Mugello, secondo me, è la gara.
Mugello is Valentino's house. Every year for the last 20, Valentino has, in one way or another, thrilled the adoring fans of Mugello.
Valentino Rossi and Mugello go hand in hand. He owned Mugello.
I won a lot of time in Mugello, 7 times in a row. A lot of time, the motivation makes the difference. You feel the race, I feel the race more, no?
Many races in Mugello fighting with Valentino. We see what he do on 77-year-old, you know. On that time, 2006, is a special weekend for us. Beginning, I start to go, to pushing to try to keep the advantage, but Valentino is always there. And we're fighting a lot in the last couple of laps, a lot of overtaking, and in the end he wins.
I fight a lot of time with Capirossi, with Loris. 2006 was one of the only times in my career that I don't remember the last lap.
Which Valentino, you never know. It's really easy to lose, you know. It's not so easy to win the race between him.
We were both without any breath because already 15 overtake. And after, from that moment, I don't know what's happened.
You know, when I am on the back of him, I try, and he do the same always.
Since the turn of the century, there is one rider that has made the Mugello experience truly unmissable for many Italians. They wave his flags, wear his colors, stick a 46 on their bikes, cars, and trucks. They wait hours for a glimpse of him and storm the fences to catch a droplet of podium champagne.
Now for me it's impossible, but a lot of years ago, sometimes I go up the hill like Friday night or Saturday night, and it's like the hell, you know. The people are completely crazy, drunk from 3 days like this, but it's something, it's like the Woodstock of MotoGP, you know.
2010, the dark side of motorcycle racing finally caught up with Rossi. A violent crash on turn 13 during the second practice session led to a broken right leg and his first major injury in 13 years of Grand Prix racing.
It was a very bad experience because a lot of pain, but after I feel a lot of great energy, and this was very, very important for comeback very soon.
Like a golfer, this is St Andrews. If you're a tennis player, this is Wimbledon. For a MotoGP, it's Mugello. Out there, it's another world. But in here, we try to keep it normal.
Valley doesn't change his demeanour at all. You know, he's incredible like that. We can be under the pump, really struggling, and you wouldn't but tell by what happens with him. And coming here, being his, one of his races, it doesn't change at all.
A natural showman, Rossi began playing up to his fans and the media with dedicated liveries at Mugello around the turn of the century. In collaboration with friend and designer Aldo Drudi, Rossi has since made a tradition of unveiling a special helmet each season at Mugello. 2016 is no different.
A long time working with Valentino, many times in Mugello. That is one of the best we made. Talking about the official color of Valentino Rossi, full yellow is the base of the helmet. As you can see, that is the word Mugello, changing the meaning in Mu Giallo, Mu Yellow. That is the trust of Valentino for tomorrow. He want to have the circuit full yellow to have extra energy for the race. Another famous helmet was the one with the face, fantastic face of Valentino smiling.
That helmet was one of the most difficult because until Wednesday night, we don't have any idea.
He explained me what is the feeling riding in Mugello, up and down the hill. Talking about Casanova Savelli, that is a famous corner, he makes this fantastic face. I said, stop, do it one more time. I take one picture of his face and I said, okay, that is the helmet.
The helmet with the face, I think that is the best one, the helmet that makes the difference.
Mugello carries a special resonance. It is the one to win. Every victory has been celebrated in Rossi style with a surprise on the cool-down lap.
Italians and coffee, Italians and Mugello, Italians and MotoGP. I don't know, it's just, they're mad for it. They just love it. You drive here, they're crazy. They love it. They love being crazy.
You know that it has to be calm. I mean, you can be in the deepest pile of poop ever, and you have to look like it's under control, and it's not like that. There's times we've had a crash bike and we're rolling the bike out, putting stickers on, and he's there ready to go, you know.
A win in Mugello is as good as you can get, really.
It's so popular in Italy, but it's so popular in the rest of the world. Valentino is not just an Italian hero, he's a worldwide hero.
Many Grand Prix riders are hooked to the sheer adrenaline of Mugello.
In '94, we come with the scooter. When you arrive here, it's a dream. You say, maybe one day I will race inside and we'll have all this crowd around, but you hope, but you don't know if happen in reality.
After securing pole position on Saturday afternoon, Valentino lit the touch paper to the level of fervor around Mugello. Upon waking up on Sunday morning, if indeed the thousands who camped on the hills alongside the track did even sleep, there was a carnival-like atmosphere to greet Valentino's first appearance on the racetrack. Running at the front, alongside teammate and eventual race winner Jorge Lorenzo, Valentino was dealt a cruel twist of fate when his Yamaha M1 suffered a catastrophic engine failure. Coasting off the side of the track and rolling to a stop, he watched his challenge for the win and a seemingly certain podium finish literally go up in smoke.
We came here with a lot of hope and expectation. The pole position that he achieved on the Saturday was pretty sensational. And then, you know, cruel luck with the mechanical failure with an engine on Valentino's bike. And what can you say? You know, we're all terribly disappointed for him because the race appeared to be his to win.
Valley was well within himself, riding behind Jorge, waiting for the right moments. And again, that cruel luck happened where the engine broke.
You know, that sport, especially mechanical sport, You can't control everything, and sometimes you don't have those things under control, and so I'm really sorry for him for the problem that occurred today.
When the checkered flag appeared, we once again witnessed how big a part the fans play in Italian motorsport, and were reminded of the immense scenes that Mugello produces each year. After all the commotion of Mugello 2016, Valentino returned to the relative peace of Tavullia, where the routine continued back at his own private racetrack, the Ranch. We'll pick up the story for the next episode right there. Set within several hundred acres of green rolling hills, just outside the town of Tavullia, there is a special track almost 2 miles in length. It curves, weaves, and invites. This is the Ranch, and the preserver of much of Valentino Rossi's verve and obsession with motorcycling.
My father, Graziano, buy this land. The first idea was to try to do one track for the drifting, but after we decided to make a track for the motorcycle. This is our style. We concentrate very much on the track for have something very fast, very wide, something interesting. And for the rest, we try to conserve the taste of this place, you know? This house is very, very old, so we try to modify, to improve, but remain more or less the same, you know?
The Ranch grew from the Rossi family's curiosity with American dirt track racing and a generation of hot shoes that entered and then dominated Grand Prix racing from the late 1970s through the mid-1990s.
Every rider around the world have this dream, to build and to have a private track where you can enjoy and where you can train.
L'ho comprato perché ho pensato fra me e me, chissà se un giorno a Valentino dovesse venire in mente di creare uno spazio suo come quelli che ad esempio vanno di moda in America, come quelli che Kenny Roberts, noi sentivamo da tanto tempo parlare del ranch di Kenny Roberts in America, però io non sapevo che a Valentino sarebbe poi venuto in mente di fare una cosa del genere.
The first time I ever went dirt tracking was at Kenny Roberts Ranch in 1992 on little bikes, and it was just a way to train. I mean, road racing is not something you can go out and do once a week or twice a week like motocross guys. So it was just a way to keep the bike loose underneath you, stay ride fit, and learn at the same time.
The ranch is a little bit American because we growing up hearing the ranch of Kenny Roberts, the ranch of Kevin Schwantz is very much American style. No? We always train at the cava, so we try to rebuild more or less a similar feeling with the bike for try to understand the skills of the slide. At the end, arrive the range that is a particular track, something special.
Whisper shouts, Murphy, come on out. My ears are burning, can you feel the heat? Don't move out until the wheels fall off.
Now the flat track is very famous. Not all, but a lot of riders make the flat track because you improve the skills of the sliding and control the bike with the rear and also with the front. And especially is not very dangerous. You know, it's always dangerous because when you go with the bike, it's dangerous. But compared to motocross, compared to supermotard, is less.
You gotta be a good rider. I mean, if you're gonna go there and ride a big bike, you can't be some squid or some novice and go there and think you're gonna roll. My place is for everybody. You know what I mean? We have small bikes, low speed, not much real danger involved, but Valentino's place, it's, you're hooking them. I mean, you're hauling the mail around there. And I went there in motocross pants and jersey. You didn't want to fall. And I knew that if I fell, it was gonna rip everything off and I was gonna have, and at the same time, as soon as we showed up, he pulled the back of his pants down and he's got this humongous bruise around the right side of his butt cheek. I'm like, oh man. So he goes, yeah, now we wear full leathers. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I could have taken that tip last week before I packed.
The world of MotoGP lives through 18 weekends and a handful of tests. For the athletes, it means little time spent at 350 kilometers per hour and riding on the very edge, finding the limit of physics. Riding is crucial, and for keeping a sharp throttle hand.
So for us, it's very important because we need to train, but we cannot risk too much.
MotoGP racers boast acute feeling, balance, and sensitivity, honed through countless hours on two wheels, infinite laps, and a never-ending fight against the chrono. The list of riders who have trained at the ranch is a who's who of motorcycle racing.
A lot of riders come here, from Kevin Schwantz, that was my hero. A lot of American riders. A lot of riders from MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3 coming. For me, this is good, and a lot of people, a lot of riders are very curious because it's my track, you know. And a lot of time in the paddock in the weekend, they say to me, I want to come to the ranch, try to organize, and I think that a lot of people come here.
E si vedono, dai, iniziano a vedersi i primi risultati. Ci tengo tanto all'Academy, a me piacciono amanti perché tanto sono piccoli, però comunque giovani, ma devo dire che quelli che sono con noi sono veramente già dei professionisti, perché comunque si allenano, si fanno il mazzo, ha già un'età di 16 anni, 17.
In the range, with all small rider working with him, he can keep power with that people, and this is still keep him young, you know.
For Rossi, the ranch is more than a training facility. It is a hangout, a place to combine his love of motorcycles and a drip feed of adrenaline with friendship, food, laughter, and good times.
Il ranch è un qualcosa di molto importante. La prima è quella che comunque si può stare insieme, condividere la stessa passione, in un posto fantastico, è un sogno per i piloti. Poi tutto questo diventa anche funzionale a quello che i piloti, che Valentino fanno in pista, perché comunque il ranch è sfida e tecnica di guida, di evolversi nella guida, di avere una competizione serrata, ma sempre con questa cosa che continuo a dire che è il segreto, ha questo spirito di vera amicizia, di rapporti umani tra Il range sicuramente è un qualcosa che ci permette di avere tutto questo.
Valentino Rossi has moved through different eras, machinery, and styles of MotoGP by refining his handling of a motorcycle, and plenty of the work has been done right here at the ranch. More than 20 years after making their Grand Prix debut, a racer would normally be reviewed in the past tense rather than the present. Not Valentino Rossi. Having evolved through multiple engine configurations, rule changes, teams and eras, he's managed to remain just as sharp a competitor and entertainer as ever.
Poi Vale, appena arrivato, già il primo anno, dopo 4 gare di mondiale, per assurdo era già Valentino Rossi. Perché comunque sì, avevo questo fare che piaceva, che faceva ridere, aveva questo fare molto naturale, che è un po' quello che è ancora adesso.
Here comes Rossi on the inside, passing Takadome. Rossi wins it.
Whilst there may be no secret formula for his longevity other than a burning desire to compete, no matter where you open the page in his biography, you'll find the same mischievous, passionate, and committed figure. Then there are the colors, the traditions, and national pride that ride along with him. And at the heart of all this is the doctor. Whether by accident or by choice, it's a label that reflects much of a man who has been known for a very particular style of competing and clinically assessing his opportunities to win in his trademark style. If you want to understand Valentino Rossi the person, you first need to get to know Valentino Rossi the doctor.
First of all, I enjoy to ride motorcycle, and but also I enjoy this life.
I have a couple of views. One is because when he prepares the bike, he's kind of a doctor, you know, because he puts together many different, aspects, variables. He's kind of a mix that works finally at its best, so a kind of medicine, it's the doctor. The other one is because it's a kind of university, so he is the doctor, but nobody really knows 100%.
I don't know really the meaning. What I heard that he has a very common name, and they said it's like to be the Dr. Rossi, a way of joking about his family name.
Whether it's the detailing of his leathers, the presence of his childhood mascots in or around his race attire, or the beloved pets featured on his bike, Valentino and designer Aldo Drudy have built a persona that is unmistakably charming, as much as it is a focal point for his fans' obsession with him.
Race always with the number 46. Also this is important for the fan, for recognize, and also the color, the yellow. I see a lot of young baby always love the 46, but because it's yellow, So I think that is a lot of things together.
He doesn't like to change that much. Once he has his personality, his logos, his colors, he's trying to stay with them. And so this is why when he chooses the yellow, he stays with the yellow, and then everybody identify with the yellow. And these logos, which now are very, very well known all over the world.
Towards the end of the 1990s and through the turn of the century, Valentino Rossi was generating headlines and video clips as much for his lively, wild, and inventive post-race celebrations as for the victories themselves. Like some of the top entertainers in show business, Rossi created his own persona and the Doctor was born. Thanks to the strong bond with friends back in Tavullia, Rossi has been able to enact drama from the lights to the flag and then continue the theatrics afterwards.
Il fan club è iniziato soprattutto perché noi avevamo la passione del motociclismo qui a Tavuglia e poi come abbiamo avuto la fortuna che il buon Dio ci ha mandato un pilota discreto come Valentino e insieme al babbo di Uccio, cioè Rino, abbiamo pensato di creare questa.
Il nostro spirito non è commerciale di business, no, noi tra amici, noi sempre organizzati e ancora adesso siamo come 20 anni fa.
Era diciamo una unione di passione e amicizia e da lì è nato il fan club, insomma.
Lì siamo partiti che la sera ci vedevamo, bevevamo queste birre, ci inventavamo queste cose qua, queste scenette, queste cose.
I mean, some of his gags that he was doing when he was young and you know, they were kind of crazy, and then a lot of other riders eventually followed it, and it just brought a real sense of enjoyment, fun, passion, coupled with really, really super performances.
Many would struggle to comprehend how the celebrations were allowed to take place, or even how far-fetched they would ultimately become.
La mia preferita, ce ne sono più di una. Allora, a me fa impazzire ancora quella dei vigili. A fine gara, quando i vigili hanno fatto la multa, ogni tanto la vedo ancora con l'autovelox.
Quella è stata una scena molto bella, che anche lì i tifosi erano perplessi, ma anche i piloti stessi che scorrevano in pista dicevano: ma cosa succede qua? Vigili veri, perché i vigili sembravano veri, tutto vero.
E rido come un pazzo, perché secondo me, come erano i due vigili, erano i classici due vigili italiani, no? C'era quello un po' più grosso e un po' più stronzo, e poi c'era quello più piccolo e un po' più che se riuscivi a parlarci un po', no? Che la nonna di Valentino gli aveva anche telefonato per dirgli: Vale, è vero che ti hanno fatto la multa? Ha detto: no, ma non erano quelli del fan club. Ah, va bene, va bene. Quella dei birilli Eseres, dove l'ultimo birillo tardava a cadere e avevamo intenzione di non farlo cadere. Sai Vale come avrei, invece dopo è caduto, è stata. Però ecco, quella è stata tutto preparata come le altre, tutto al momento.
The Rossi show has grown exponentially and the craziness around the Doctor ebbs and flows. There have been seismic shifts in Rossi's career. The move from the all-conquering Honda team, where he had won 5 championships in a row, to Yamaha in 2003 was seen as a risk. Yet it was a change between two manufacturers and two different racing philosophies he wanted to make.
When he very first came to Yamaha, he said, anyway, one of the most important things is I need to have fun. And that's also why he left his former team, because he wasn't enjoying enough. It became too much hard work.
It allowed Rossi to grasp one of his most cherished victories in an unforgettable debut at Welcome in South Africa in 2004.
The most special one was the Welcome 2004, the first victory with Yamaha. I think is my most important victory in my career.
Che ha fatto, questa moto era un po', no? Il calimero, la brutta, non era una moto che, no? E quando Valle l'ha provata la prima volta, mi ricordo che ha fatto un run da 6-7 giri, si è girato verso di me e mi ha detto: si può vincere con questa moto. No? Me lo ricorderò per molto, perché poi alla fine aveva ragione lui e poi ha vinto il mondiale. No? Quindi questo.
There were the Ducati years and the return to Yamaha and the reinvention of his style to remain competitive against both newcomers and old foes. Never one to conform to protocol, decisions relating to his career have always been done in Valentino's own special way. Take the love letter to his M1 upon announcing he was leaving Yamaha for Ducati ahead of the 2011 season.
Everybody loves racing.
Appassionato di tutto quello che fa, non solo delle moto.
Avere un personaggio così abbiamo un orgoglio grandioso.
Tavuglia è un paese che livella un po' le cose, perciò ti fa vedere anche le cose nel modo giusto. E questa cosa qui secondo me è servita anche molto a Vale perché lo fa mantenere sempre come si vuol dire, da un punto di vista umano molto vicino alla sua terra e alla sua gente.
Tavuglia is a small place, but is a very special place for me. The things that bring me back to Tavuglia every time are especially my friends.
The Doctor has left an imprint in MotoGP and created millions of fans around the world. And now Valentino Rossi has been busy in creating a different sort of legacy, which is where we will pick up the final part of our story next time. Tavuglia is where it's all at for Valentino Rossi. His childhood home is an escape from the madness of international recognition. Furthermore, Tavuglia serves as the epicenter for his business interests and ventures. Just a short drive from the center of Tavuglia, the VR46 offices host the retail arm of the business and the workshop for the Sky Racing Moto3 team. It is only natural that Valentino would circle back to this small town and the close gathering of friends and family that have helped the letters and numbers that make up VR46. It's become much more than an emblem of a world-famous motorcycle racer. To many who interact with Valentino on a personal basis, he is more than a rider. He is the boss, and the man who they work for at his headquarters.
He's Vale. That's the title.
As one of the highest earning sportsmen in the world, Rossi has not only been able to further his business interests, he has also been able to indulge in some of his passions far away from the scrutiny of the racing community. His clan of confidants have helped him shape his life. And away from MotoGP, the group effort is even more integral to his day-to-day existence away from the track. Aside from the small matter of an international fan club and Valentino's own restaurant, the Pizzeria del Rossi, the imprint goes far further. His company, VR46, has spawned a merchandise operation that manages the services for not only Valentino, but also for many other riders on the MotoGP grid.
The history of Valentino merchandising is quite long, of course. In the beginning, we licensed our merchandising to other companies. But then one day in 2008, we decided to do our own merchandising. Of course, we started working on Valentino's merchandising. Then many other riders and also factories approached us. And this is why now we are working with many different riders. Valentino first believes that the merchandising is the link between the sportsman and his fan. And he gave us just very few rules. And I remember very well the first one, which is never compromise on quality. We want to give them the best quality and the best product possible. The last seasons, we are also trying to expand the business in different kind of sports, like football.
Interestingly, the apparel business has even grown to accommodate another Italian sporting giant, the Juventus Football Club.
On the creative part, he is very involved. The merchandising should be the expression of the rider.
These business interests have also seen him extend his relationship with Monster Energy to include his very own signature drink, the Doctor. Further, in conjunction with Dorna, he starred in and helped develop the 2016 official MotoGP video game. To complement his team at the races, Rossi built another crew at home. Over the years, the 9-time champion wanted to leave another kind of legacy, one that would find a spiritual base at a place called The Ranch. Enter a third unit. A cooperation with TV broadcaster Sky Italia led to the formation of the Sky Racing Team VR46 Moto3 team in 2014. The team is now a major force in the class. Complemented by hand-picked Italian riders from the academy who race for multiple teams in Moto2 and Moto3, he now has a direct hand in researching and developing prize talent headed towards the premier MotoGP class. Athletes like Romano Fenati, Andrea Migno, and new teenage sensation Nicola Balega, who seized his first podium finish in just his 5th Grand Prix, form the Sky Racing Team VR46 Moto3 effort. In fact, the melee of Moto3 racing will almost inevitably see Valentino's charges run at the front. The entire Academy squad are invited to train with Valentino at the ranch on each Saturday when they are not racing. Come race weekend, you will often spot them sitting in a huddle with Valentino discussing tactics, track insights, and listening very closely to absorb his racing wisdom.
È nata non per gioco ma quasi, un po' nata al contrario, no? E adesso è una struttura, è un'organizzazione pazzesca, è una cosa a cui io tengo tantissimo.
È nata dal rapporto che si è instaurato con questi ragazzi, all'inizio un rapporto di amicizia, di stima, di aiuto. E poi ad un certo punto Vale ci ha chiesto di trasformare tutto questo in un qualcosa di più professionale.
È una cosa importante, bella, e cerchiamo di mettere a disposizione quello che Valle ci ha insegnato in questi 20 anni di mondiale ai ragazzini, a questi ragazzi giovani. E quindi tanto lavoro, impegno e passione.
Per me fare parte dell'Academy significa molto perché è una grande opportunità e essere seguiti comunque da Vale, che è il nostro maestro, e chi meglio di lui per darci dei consigli e aiutarci nella crescita.
Noi siamo veramente dei pochi fortunati, ci aiuta molto, diciamo, per una crescita poi futura e appunto in un futuro. L'Academy è una grandissima opportunità per i ragazzi che sono stati scelti. Secondo me è una cosa che nel mondo delle moto non c'è mai stata.
Allora, avere Valentino come capo è oltretutto, prima di tutto un sogno. Per me è sempre stato un idolo fin da piccolo quando guardavo le gare. Oltre che il nostro maestro, è come se fosse un amico.
For everything we can ask to all the people here. For the most simple thing to the most difficult. Also have Vale as a boss is pretty stimulating and pretty fun.
Era sempre stato il mio idolo. Pensare un giorno di riuscire ad andare nel suo team non avrei mai pensato di riuscire ad arrivare fino a qua. Ecco.
Comunque in uno sport individuale è come se noi fossimo una squadra, tra virgolette.
Devono poter avere la loro opportunità. Questa è stata la nostra missione all'inizio.
È meraviglioso dargli a loro la possibilità di mettersi in mostra, di fare quello che a loro piace.
È un qualcosa di unico perché Vale prima della Riders Academy aveva così, come dire, aperto tutta la sua esperienza di questi anni, tutto quello che è il suo fare il pilota soltanto a Marco Simoncelli. Era l'unico che poteva condividere come un fratello. Poi Vale ha deciso di dare tutto questo ai ragazzi e ai piloti nostri dell'Academy.
E speriamo che uno di loro un giorno diventi, non come Valentino perché secondo me è impossibile, ma basterebbe anche un quarto o la metà.
Ha alzato il livello di competizione negli allenamenti con Valentino e quindi è diventato un qualcosa anche di funzionale, soprattutto secondo me per quello che è il vero segreto di Valentino Rossi,
VR46 now counts over 20 employees in Tavullia, where Valentino is much more than a mere masthead.
We are kind of a big family, and this is because of him. I have to say, he's not a boss, he's a leader. He's very good on working with a good mood, trying to have fun, but always at the maximum level.
His influence is felt throughout the overall look and feel of the business thanks to his sense of style and camaraderie with key people. One of Italy's most famous historical figures, Leonardo da Vinci, once said, "Art is never finished, only abandoned." Valentino Rossi has been crafting his own masterpiece for most of his adult life, and it can certainly be considered a definitive work. For Rossi, though, his mastery of motorcycles and the creation of the VR46 business is only the beginning of what lies ahead. Some know him as a friend, others as an entertaining hero, and even more as a genius on two wheels. Some call him boss, and others may say idol. Whatever the label, it is hard to dispute the assertion that as a racer and a visionary, he has fundamentally changed the landscape of MotoGP and what it means to merit the title, the greatest.